We're coming to you from the floor of the 2016 New York Auto Show. Next on Talking Cars. Hi everybody, welcome to Talking Cars with Consumer Reports. I'm Tom Muchler.
I'm Jake Fisher.
I'm Gabe Shanhar.
We're here on the floor of the New York Auto Show. Gotta say, this year's show, a little light on stuff.
Yeah, we're done.
That's it, well done, that's it. We'll save your time. No.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I hate to be a killjoy, but this show is...
I specialize in it, so go. Gabe.
It's much ado about nothing. I mean, a pile of AMGs and a Jaguar SVR and the Summit Jeep and Overland Jeep. I mean, seriously, you're getting journalists to go downstairs to look at two additional versions of the Grand Cherokee.
Okay, let's be fair. There are a few important cars here. One of them that's really key for our readers, our viewers, is the Subaru Impreza.
Yes, indeed, Subaru Impreza is a full redesign, although it's not very obvious just looking at the styling.
It's a little bit sharper, a little bit sleeker. It's very recognizable as an Impreza.
But brand new chassis, and that's pretty significant because all future Subarus are going to be based on that. And that's the first one out the gate.
Right. It was interesting hearing their claims for this new platform because they said they made it a lot stiffer in order to improve crash test results. Subarus already do great in crash test results. They made it stiffer so that it rides better. Subarus already generally ride pretty well. It'll be interesting to see what improvements actually come out of this.
Yeah, probably NVH, noise, vibration, harshness improvements and such.
Well, I've already given advice to some people I know that, wait till the fall. There's probably some good deals on 2016 Imprezas because they're really, really good cars.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. But like you said, a lot of these things that they've improved upon, there was already a pretty good platform for them.
Right. One thing that is obviously improved upon is the interior is nicer. That's something that Subaru's been doing as they've been redesigning their models. When they redid the 15 Outback, it didn't change the car a lot, but they added more feature content. They made the interiors nicer.
Yeah, even though, but somehow interiors are usually a Subaru Achilles heel. I mean, they're a little chintzy.
I think they're coming up to par though with these newer redesigns. There's a heavily updated 2-liter boxer 4-cylinder here with direct injection, a little bit more power. They're going to try to up fuel economy a bit. It'll be interesting. I mean, the Impreza's our top pick for compact or small car, and we'll see if they carry that over.
We'll see, indeed.
Indeed. Another new car that's very interesting is the Hyundai Ionic.
Yes, very much so. I mean, that's it's like a three-pronged attack on the iconic Prius, which is, when you say hybrid, it's pretty much equals Prius. And so Hyundai is going to bring out that car in the form of a hybrid, pure EV, and a plug-in hybrid.
Now, what's amazing is we've been saying for years, why does no one take the Prius on head-on? Right. And finally someone did.
Well, it looks, it's the same shape of the Prius. It's got the same split rear window as the Prius. But again, the Prius, what was it, 2004 when they came out with that second generation Prius?
Yeah, the one where it really took off.
And it's kind of like, 2017. It took a long time for someone actually to do that. I mean, the closest thing was probably the Honda Insight, but that was a terrible execution.
That was a half-hearted effort. It tried to be a cheaper Prius,
so
which
this one
no one really wanted.
Not just that we'll do that. I mean, they're promising better fuel efficiency than the Prius. They're promising a longer range with the plug-in version than the new Prius Prime, which also will be plug-in. So it'll be interesting. I mean, one of the disappointments, I think, though, is the way it looks. I mean,
are you disappointed by that?
It's very stodgy. It's very conservatively styled. It really doesn't stand out. I mean, I think they kind of missed an opportunity to do something that really, look, I'm gonna skip to the chase here. I mean, okay, yes, there's a lot of uninteresting things going on here. I thought there was one really interesting thing, and it has to do with Genesis, right? So, I mean, Hyundai has introduced this new highline luxury brand, Genesis. What if that Ionic had a luxury component to it? And that was what the Ionic was, a luxury vehicle that really stood out. And this looks like they know how to do styling from Genesis.
Well, I mean, the Ionic's already a bit more luxurious than the Prius. It does offer real leather. It does offer memories, it does have more feature content than the Prius.
But you could get leather in the Prius,
but it's fake stuff. Yeah, it's still soft.
Well, look, I mean, Mercedes-Benz are putting in, fake leather, but it looks nice. The difference is, though, it's what it looks like on the outside. It's a very conservatively
normal.
styled, normal vehicle. I mean, to me, look, my wife's got a 2006 Prius. To me, that looks a little bit more out there, you know, the way the car is styled.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think it looks. I think its normalcy is an attribute. I mean, especially you get in it, has a normal dashboard. It doesn't have a kooky shifter. It doesn't have the Stormtrooper white plastic of the new Prius.
It is normal.
Right.
It doesn't. The new Prius is going to alienate some people with all the angles and cuts in the
Well,
origami.
isn't there somewhere in the middle, though? You know?
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Chevy Volt's actually pretty much in the middle. They.
And it's more normal in the transmission too, we might add, that most hybrids use CVT or EVT, and the Ionic uses a dual clutch 6-speed auto.
Right. Hyundai has like a vendetta against CVTs. They seem to want to avoid them at all costs.
Well, they listen to customers because a lot of people don't enjoy driving CVTs. And if they could do the same thing with a conventional transmission and get the same fuel efficiency, more power to them.
Right. Another new car here is also from the same.
And in addition, I mean, that kind of gets the initial electric torque kind of gets away from the problems of dual clutch transmissions, all that initial vibration at low speed.
Smooths everything out.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, you can also argue though that hybrids kind of mask CVTs because they tend to do the same thing.
Yeah, but
don't
still,
need
when
to
you're in a
shift as
hurry,
much.
it gets a little unpleasant.
They're all rubber bandy.
Yeah.
Nah,
You know, it's like
that's- yeah,
here's
that's
a
fair.
power plant here, and then the wheels do something else, and they're not connected.
Right. Okay. Next car, same company, Kia Cadenza.
Yeah. So interestingly, let's say the Hyundai Azera is going away, which is the
No.
sister vehicle.
No, don't say it. Don't.
Of the Kia Cadenza, and
Does anyone know that the Azera exists?
Or the Cadenza, for
well,
that matter.
Yeah, that's true too.
yeah.
I mean, look,
I mean,
this
both
is,
of them compete in kind of like a very niche of a large front-wheel drive sedan.
But they're vehicles that are really good. I mean, people know what
Right.
they've heard of Avalons, right? I mean, that's a household term, right? They've heard of Impalas.
And Chrysler 300.
And Chrysler 300. This is a great, I mean, we say it all the time. And we look at the Cadenza, it's like, this is a really good choice, but you've never heard of it, and maybe you don't care.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of one of these cars that nobody knows about, but it actually is really good, and they updated it. You know, with brief styling, will anyone care? I don't know.
I don't know,
It's-
but
it's
I mean,
tough.
it looks pretty promising, roomy, normal, you know, the easy controls.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that Kia has stood for
Right.
for the last couple
Sure.
of years. I've got another car that I'm not sure if people will care about, and maybe this will be controversial. Alfa Romeo showed more versions of the Giulia.
Yeah, I mean, they started with the top end Quadrifoglio, whatever it's called, which is like a competitor of the M3, M4, and now they're trickling down to the more normal versions of 2-liter and all-wheel drive, and which are gonna, it's gonna be another choice for the un-BMW.
But here's the problem. I mean, it's
People looking for another choice?
well, okay. I will say yes. People are looking for another choice, and we said it before because
You're
in the
right.
compact
Okay.
luxury market,
I set you up.
you set me up. Nicely done. Like, say something smart, Jake. No. But look, I mean, in that market, right? We know it. There's openings, right? Because you have the C-Class Mercedes, which is a great car to drive.
Unreliable.
Unreliable. You got the BMW, which is pretty good, and the reliability's been kind of off and on. Then you got Lexus with the IS, which is reliable, but it's not a great driving car.
Not a
There
sports
is-
sedan.
So there is
No,
room
it's not.
for a vehicle here, but it's not this vehicle. So this is a vehicle that, let's say it drives great. I don't know if it's really going to, because if it has anything, if it drives anything even like a Ghibli, which is not that impressive.
No, it's not.
Who knows? I mean, obviously we haven't driven it yet, but the reliability from this automaker has not been good.
No.
And a new entry, again, if you want to drive something that's really nice, get yourself a C-Class, and you don't care about reliability.
Well, it's also, you've got the Jaguar XE, which
Right,
is the
there's
same.
more.
It's the same exact thing. It's
Right.
like,
I mean,
okay, here's a new rear drive
what's
sedan
happening
that-
in this
right.
class is you have this holy trinity of BMW 3 Series, the Mercedes C-Class, and the Audi A4. All the rest are
Holy
like
trinity.
kind of like
very
you know,
religious experience.
very scattered about. So everybody wants a piece of that pie.
Well, sure, no, it's a
A4 is
sweet,
kind of where it's at
it's
right
a sweet,
now.
sweet, delicious pie. I mean, there's lots of money to be made in the luxury market. Just Alpha has been one of these. Yeah, it's coming next year. Yeah, it's coming next year. Maybe next year. I mean, a couple of years ago at Detroit, they said something like 8 new models by 2018, and they've chopped that forecast down considerably because Fiat's they are kind of in a mess right now, with getting rid of the Dart and the 200, and so I just don't know. I mean,
well, it's nice to have choices. If you don't want a German car, you can go Italian or British.
they'll sell 30,000 in the first year, and then it will trickle off quickly.
They need something that's going to be reliable. They need to prove the record that they can make reliable cars, and they're not establishing a good record.
Okay, talking about this market segment.
Yay.
If someone actually did bring out a reliable car, and Hyundai showed a concept, and you had mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
That would be the concept.
This is it.
Innovatively named the New York concept.
That's pandering, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, hello, New York, go on.
I thought that was the new Chrysler New Yorker.
Oh.
This, I'll just let that go. But look, this was the car of this show.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
No, it was definitely the star of the show.
This was the star of the show. And look, I mean, I'm not a big one for concepts because they can show whatever they want and then, nothing comes out of it. I'm more interested in the real cars. But that was the star of this show because, look, Hyundai is coming out. We have a new brand, right? Named Genesis. This doesn't happen very much, new brand. I mean, you got to
It's a big investment.
It's a big investment. And you know what? Hyundai has got not just the money behind it, but the expertise behind it, the parts behind it, to actually take this thing seriously. And they recognize that there is a hole in this market, right? Something that's reliable, that's easy to use, that's fun to drive, and I think they can do it. And when they showed this, this concept, this New York concept, I know, pandering, but I mean, it looks like something different.
It does.
It's not like,
does.
oh, here's another smaller size Genesis or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a beautiful design, but they're certainly striking.
Well, right, and who knows if the real car is going to look anything like it, but it just shows that, like, we're going to take this seriously. I mean, what the show, look, the press conference wasn't even about the car. It was like, look at all these designers we hired.
Yeah, and you know what, you're absolutely right, because it's much less about the car. It's more about a declaration of intent.
Yes.
That we're serious, we're going to establish this brand, and there are going to be models. I mean, they're already are talking about the luxury SUV, sports sedan.
Right, SUVs and sedans.
But again, hiring designers is fine because in the recent years, they've worked out ride and handling. They've worked out reliability. They're working out fuel efficiency.
Right, but something was always missing until they hired Peter Schreier from Audi, which Audi regrets.
He's done miracles with Kia.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, so look, I mean, there's an opening, right? If you're looking for an entry-level luxury and you care about reliability, but you want something that's interesting to drive, maybe Genesis is going to be able to figure out how to do that.
Right, really looking forward to seeing how much of that comes to market and what that car drives like. The other interesting concept here, which I'm surprised you didn't say this stole the show, is
what?
If you want a Range Rover with gullwing doors, Lincoln's got your number.
Oh my God. Yeah, that did not steal the show.
Oh, come on. The Navigator concept wasn't?
Okay, so the Navigator concept, right? The whole half of this giant vehicle opens up like a clamshell.
I've never seen
really?
I don't think we've ever seen the passenger side open. I think it would just fold in half if you had both doors
I just
open.
imagine like
Both
smoke coming
doors
out and like somebody walking down is like,
all
take me
the
cheerleader.
all the
it's
steps.
kinda
There's like a lot of steps.
Was that the Lincoln Model X actually?
Well, so that brings these things like, oh, Tesla is coming out with clamshell doors and SUV, so we're going to make a big one. It just seemed ridiculous.
That won't be production.
Well, I think actually what this means is that it's a precursor for the redesign of the Navigator, which is going to be based on the aluminum F-150. And Ford realized, I mean, there are competitors selling these ridiculous vehicles for 90,000, 100,000 with Escalade. And they are kind of stuck with their truck roots there. And we said that when we tested the Navigator. It's noisy,
updated last year.
The interior is chintzy, cheap, and they realize that, and I think that's
what they're going to do.
About.
They're doing what they did with the Continental. Although the Continental's clean sheet, I mean, what is there and isn't insane looks pretty good. I mean, it looks a lot like a Range Rover. They have shown that they can do nice interiors recently.
Yeah, they can do nice interiors. The grill will probably stay. We'll see that on whatever it is. It's always about the grill with Lincoln. Matthew McConaughey, who was here, talking about Lincoln.
He cashed his check. Speaking of the grill, two important updates. One of them is the Acura MDX. Now, Acura their press conferences typically have two very important things. One is we are introducing a new corporate grille
Yes.
that no one will invariably.
There's no more red carpet athlete or whatever.
No, it's precision crafted performance. There's some precision in there.
Yeah.
They will have some grille that no one likes, and they will have lots of acronyms. Because one of the things they did with the MDX is they introduced the super hybrid, super handling all-wheel drive.
So what's the SH now? Super handling or super hybrid?
Just square it. The other thing that was very important that they did with the MDX is and this is near and dear to us at Consumer Reports, is that they have made advanced safety equipment standard. Forward collision warning is standard.
Right.
Automatic emergency braking is standard across all of them. And we really want more companies to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's significant. As for the grille change, it looks...
Is not significant.
It's not significant. It looks actually kind of like a Kia now. I mean, it's kind of like...
Or a Mazda upside down,
looks like,
maybe.
yes.
Yeah. Another update
It's better than that razor blade thing that
Yeah.
some people call it the beak.
Yeah. Oh,
The beak is gone.
exactly. Another update was a Toyota Highlander. Got the 3.5 liter and the 8-speed automatic from the Lexus RX.
Right. So yeah, I mean that was kind of expected, and you know that'll help with fuel economy. And
Look, we did top picks just recently, and
Right,
it was
yeah.
edged out by not a whole lot, and now they made some improvements to it, and they can put it right back on the map.
The other thing that may help with in the top pick battle is that eventually it will also get standard forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking. There's been a bit of confusion between the press releases and availability.
Well,
but
what's clear is, I mean,
eventually it will come out.
I think it'll happen really soon. I mean, it basically comes down to this, for this automaker and some other automakers, they're committed to making this stuff standard. Really, what I've been hearing by talking to a lot of people is that it's more about actually getting production up from the
Right.
suppliers. So it's not even the automaker. I mean, the automakers want to make this stuff standard equipment. They realize that that's what's right in the market if they want to be competitive. But suddenly you got to build a whole lot of this equipment, these cameras and all that.
Yep.
And so as soon as they can, I think it's going to be standard.
which is terrific for consumers, because right now
Absolutely.
the only way it's standard is in expensive Volvos and Mercedes. So
Right.
this is great. Some variations on cars we've already seen before. The Prius Prime. It's finally a plug-in that might actually be worth plugging in from Toyota.
yeah, so you're exactly right. I mean the previous Prius plug-in was kind of a very half-hearted plug-in. Every time it smelled a little mild incline or you were a little bit in a hurry, it turned on the engine, the gas engine immediately, and that was really undermined the whole EV experience of the car.
Right, it also had
they're
what, 12
claiming-
miles of range, and now
Yeah,
they're up
if
to-
that on a good day.
Now
And,
they're claiming 22.
Now they're claiming 22, and they're even saying that, you know what, even when you floor it, it's going to stay in EV mode, which customers wanted.
Well, look, I mean, when it comes to plug-in hybrids, a lot of people buy, when there's a hybrid and there's a plug-in hybrid, let's face it, not a lot of people are buying the plug-in version, and some of the people that are doing
Especially
it,
with Prius.
especially with the Prius, and some of the people are doing it, they're trying to get in the high, the HOV
yeah.
lanes or whatnot.
Or let you
But-
get a good parking space at work where the chargers are.
Right, but there's a more to this car than just being plug-in. I mean, there's actually new sheet metal in this car. So it's got a whole new fascia, which is interesting. It looks much more conservative than the normal Prius.
That's true.
The
Giant
rear end,
screen inside too.
Giant screen, very reminiscent of a Tesla. I mean, it's this big giant screen. It looks like it's very iPad-y. And then in the back, there's like this carbon fiber hatch and this glass that's like, I can't imagine how that's going to work. There's like bent glass going on. So they're trying to differentiate it. But I think, what's really important actually about the Prius, it's not what this car is. I think it's what's next. And look, CT200H, right? I mean, Lexus has been soldiering around with this really not competitive vehicle,
Right.
which is kind of Prius-based.
Yeah.
Well, now we got a new Prius platform,
That
which
drives a lot better.
better,
It's quite a bit quieter.
has a lot more tricks up its sleeve. I mean, they sell an all-wheel drive model of this thing in Japan. They've got lithium-ion batteries. They've got this plug-in version. What's going to happen when they actually do a real small Lexus hybrid and get the interior right and all that? I think that's going to be a really interesting car.
Yeah, so this car is basically a precursor of more things. to come.
I personally think it is. They haven't announced that, but I mean, it's just inevitable.
Okay.
And if it comes with all-wheel drive, it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
My favorite car of the show, no surprise, the Mazda Miata RF.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty slick.
That's a kind of a neat way of doing a retractable hardtop.
It is, yeah. And I talked to them, and they claim that it adds less than 100 pounds of weight, and it folds in 12
That's
seconds.
a lot for a car that only weighs like 2,300 pounds or something like that.
There hasn't been enough fighting here, so I'm gonna bite on this one. Isn't it kind of like a Miata del Sol? You know, it's got that upright window and these buttresses that don't really do anything.
Sexy.
And okay, fine, I'll give you that. If you look at the profile of it, I looked at that and I'm like, that looks great. You know why I think it looks great? Because I wish the thing was a liftback. To me, if you want to do another body style in the Miata, give me a hardtop with a liftback, a little room there.
Because nothing's as sexy as practicality.
Look, I mean, the most
Wasn't there a
expensive
BMW
cars.
Z4 like that?
Yes, there was.
No, not
four
like that.
people bought it.
I'm not talking about that. Like an F-Type. Like an F-Type coupe is not a good-looking car. It's got a glass down there, and you hope
Yes,
it. Come
yes.
on.
No, you're right. You're right. I loved it, the Jaguar XK. That
There
had
you
that.
go.
All right.
Exactly. No, I'm not talking about the Z.
The Z4.
No, that was a good dig, though. I appreciate
that was well done. No, I would take that car in that gunmetal gray and that brown leather on
brown
the floor.
leather. It's always about the brown leather.
That was
That's what it's
very
all
nice.
about.
Finally, Honda showed us a Civic hatchback that had some neon green bits on it, and that's
It was green.
Yeah.
Well, there's a four-door hatchback and a two-door hatchback, and there's
And
more
a
body
two-door
styles.
coupe, and
two-door-
every body style known to mankind
Well,
is coming to
a
the
wagon would be cool, but we're not going to get that. But
or maybe a two-door fastback coupe.
I think
maybe.
that's called an Integra. I think that would be called.
Yeah, the Integra's not coming
I
back.
could only dream.
They can't fit that new grille on the Integra.
No.
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Talking Cars. As always, we thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.